In 1987, a little girl vanished from a foster home in rural Ohio. Decades later, her voice was found still counting on a radio inside an abandoned fire station. And now, the numbers have gone negative. The numbers were already running when we walked in. Not music, not static. A child's voice, clear as if she were standing right behind you, saying 4,112, 4,111, 4,110. We were 3 hours outside Columbus, deep in rural Ohio, chasing rumors about an abandoned fire station condemned since 1987. The front doors were chained, but the side entrance had been pried open long before us. Inside, the air tasted like rust and old dust. Hoses still hung from the walls, stiff and cracked, and the fire truck sat in the bay like a rusted skeleton, its paint peeling in long, curling strips. The voice came from the back office. We followed it down the hall. The door was ajar. Inside, the room was mostly bare. A metal desk, a broken chair, a filing cabinet with drawers half open and spilling yellowed papers. And there, on the desk, sat a shortwave radio, its casing scorched along one side, a frayed power cord snaking into a wall outlet that shouldn't have had power at all. The dial was locked on a single frequency. No static, no hum, just that small, calm voice counting down. She sounded about 7, maybe 8. Not scared, not whispering, just counting with the patience of someone who had been doing this for a very long time. Marcus reached for the volume knob. The instant his fingers touched it, the voice skipped. We all heard it. A jump of nearly 100 counts in less than a second. His hand froze. The numbers kept dropping. Steady now, like nothing had happened. The air in the room felt heavier, like the building had just taken a breath. We backed away, but the voice followed us down the hallway, faint but unmistakable. Outside, under the pale moonlight, we tried to make sense of it. The breaker box by the side of the building was ancient. Its main switch fused in the on position. The meter was long disconnected, glass shattered, wires corroded. There should have been no power anywhere in that building. Yet, the radio kept counting. Back home, our first stop was the FCC database. The fire station's call letters were there. Decommissioned in 1987, the same year the station shut down. Buried in a scanned incident report, we found a note about a missing persons case tied to the property. A 7-year-old girl named Lacey, taken from a foster home less than a mile away. The same week, the station went dark. We went back to the footage we'd shot. Frame by frame, we isolated the numbers. Then, we did the math. If each count was a day, the number she was on when we arrived matched almost exactly the days since Lacey vanished. Not approximate, nearly exact, down to within a week. That's when the second anomaly hit. In the background of one clip, reflected in the office window, you can see the radio's frequency display. We never changed it. But when we checked, the dial had shifted on its own, locked onto a different band. And the girl's voice had changed too. We hadn't heard that in person. It was only on the recording, as if whatever was speaking had passed 0 while we weren't listening. On our last night reviewing the audio, we found something else. Underneath the counting, almost buried in the hiss, there's a second voice. Not a child, not human. It doesn't speak. It breathes, slow and deliberate, as if waiting. And right at the end of the file, just before the recording cuts out, the girl stops counting. Silence. Then, faintly, the sound of a fire alarm. Distant, warped. like it's echoing down a hallway that doesn't exist anymore. The next morning, the FCC archive page we bookmarked was gone. The missing persons report scrubbed. The only thing left was our own footage and the unbroken thread of numbers still dropping. We drove back one last time. The station looked the same, but the side door, the one we'd found pried open, was now chained from the inside. Through the grimy window, we could see the office. The radio sat on the desk, dark, unplugged, coated in dust that hadn't been disturbed in decades. Yet, if you pressed your ear to the glass, you could still hear it, faint but certain. The count had kept going without us. We never found a power source. We never found Lacey. All we found was a voice that had outlasted the building, the records, the people who once knew her name, and somewhere, in a frequency no map will show, something is still counting the days she's been gone. Something that doesn't stop at 0. The countdown has been running for over 30 years. If it ever reaches 0, no one is left to hear what comes next. If you have a story like this, drop it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.